I love lobster, and you see that big feast I put up there. That was what we used to do every year. Just throw it right on the table with corn and clams and shrimp and everything else, until my throat started getting clogged up and welts all over me. And the doctor's like, "Oh, you're allergic to shellfish now. No. Welcome to your 50s or 40s or whatever it was." So anyway, good morning, everyone, and good to see you all. Do you ever think that sometimes you play the victim role? We're going to talk about the consistency, which demonstrates integrity. And so often we give up too early, right? We give up too early, and then we put in excuses, and we come from a victimhood. Well, yesterday I was calling Curtis, and I'm like, "Hey, Curtis, man, this shit doesn't work." Excuse my language. This doesn't work. I got yelled at. I got hung up on. I got told they hate me, and they hate this company, and they hate this, and they hate that. And I said, I got totally discouraged. And then I had to stop and think and go, wait a minute. I didn't make enough phone calls yet. By the way, I ended up completing nearly 100 phone calls yesterday. Out of the 100 phone calls I made yesterday, I got hung up on 10 times. I got yelled at 3 times or 4 times. I got told that our company, I hate that company. Don't ever call me again. Hey, by the way, my husband did this to you and I'm doing it to you. Click. And these are realtors, guys. And I'm like, you know what? I could have either let it discourage me from making another call, or I could have thought of Ed Milet to talk about the power of one more call, or the power of what impact can I make on the next phone call. So after talking to Curtis and him laughing at me and going, "They're wonderful people," I'm like, "Yeah, they're so nice. So nice. Maybe you need to call them now." Anyway, I made a couple more phone calls, and here's what the result was. And I tell you this because this is important. This is, you either want to be coached, mentored, or you want to be sponsored. And I believe everyone on this call would love to be coached. It's called group coaching. Sometimes you don't like it though, because it's in your face. And sometimes you guys just don't want to be coached. You want to be mentored, or you want a sponsor, someone to tap you on the back every once in a while. You got to choose which one you want. So anyway, I call one, and the lady says, "I'm not interested in your company." I said, "Fantastic. Are you interested in referrals?" She said, "Absolutely." I said, "Fantastic. Are you interested in a referral between 800 and 1 million?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Can I tell you more about our company first, and then I'm going to give you the referral?" She goes, "Sure." And I did have a referral for her. I did. So the referral is actually an agent getting licensed in Vegas. And I told him, "Hey, listen, here's a referral for you. By the way, when you get licensed, recruit this person." And she became very open. So what I kind of learned from that call was I was asking them to be more interested in what I had to tell them versus what kind of value I may be able to deliver. At that moment, it was a referral, but maybe I was missing something. So I stepped back and I thought about the calls I was making, and I said, all right, what can I do to tweak this to make it more productive? Or just quit and then say it doesn't work and never do it again. So I tweaked my script a little bit. Here's how I tweaked it. I followed it. So I pulled up my script again and I started to read it. And I'm like, wow, I wasn't even saying this. I wasn't even saying that. And by the way, Steve Pugh was standing beside me too. He was making calls, so he'll contest to this. But what I'm really getting at is the consistency of making those calls, even though I went through some adversity of some people on those calls. It became a very productive day of calls. I could have gave up when I was hung up on. I could have gave up when someone said, "I hate you and I hate your company." They don't know me. They don't know the company. They're being coached to talk that way. And by the way, I want you guys to think about something. How many times have you personally did the same thing? When someone calls you, the insurance guy, right? The auto home warrant, the auto warranty, or another lender, or ADT, or someone calls you to sell you something, you don't even listen. You go, I'm not interested, click, bye. But then again, you're doing the same thing, making calls, right? So if you don't like it done to you, why do you do it to others? I want you to think about that for a second. Why don't you stay on the line, engage in the conversation, listen to the individual, and then maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll be able to compliment them on this script. Maybe you can compliment them on what they're doing. Maybe you can say, hey, do you do this all day long? Because if you looked at real estate and did this, you can prosper your career. So consistency will demonstrate integrity, but also I want you to think about something, and that is, how are you showing up when you get a call? Robert's in that corner. I can see him right here, just because he's parked right at the top left corner. It's resonating with him because he keeps shaking his head. And I'm very guilty of that too. 100%. I'm not interested. And I don't even know what I'm saying I'm not interested to. So
can I say one thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we had this conversation at the conference, and you owe it, the attraction thing is, you owe it to yourself as a business person to see what this is about and how it can benefit you. If you're not going to listen to someone else, how can you say that to another agent to bring them aboard?
100, and that's with anything, right? That's with anything. That's with your prospecting. That's with your sphere of influence. That's with for sale by owners. That's what expireds. That's with everything, right? So what are we doing that we're not coming from curiosity? We're coming from total shutdown. I'm not interested. It's all about me. How am I going to benefit? And the reality is, we don't give anybody that opportunity. So I wanted to kind of dig into consistency demonstrates integrity. And are we consistently doing the things to create the results that we're looking for, or are we giving up way too early? And if we're giving up way too early, why are we giving up? Is it the distractions? Is it the fear of, we allowed somebody else to make us feel not important? But here's the thing, it's not about us, right? It's about who the impact is going to be on. What's the true impact? What separates great agents from the rest, it basically comes down to three things. They're masters of efficiency. They use every minute of their day wisely. They're meticulous about their schedule. They're masters of effectiveness. They know their scripts and their dialogue. And that's where I was going wrong yesterday, is I was just, I was trying to use old scripts, and then I was mixing old scripts in with new scripts and all this other stuff, and it wasn't becoming effective. And the mindset, they know their only choice is to succeed. Failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. Success is the only choice. You came into the industry to be a realtor. And most realtors think there's an easy button. Well, I will tell you, some of the top agents that we talked to at the shareholders and on our calls, we had a small call with Dave Kennard yesterday. And what we're hearing and seeing is the relationship has been taken away from the industry. The relationship has been taken away from the industry. We would rely on too much on a text message, an email, or a social media post. We're brave on social media. We're brave on a text. We're brave on a email, but we're cowards or scaredy cats to make a phone call. So the consistency for phone calls has to be, you have to fight through the pain. Dave Kennard mentioned this yesterday as an example. He said he has some dogs on his property, and he has an electric fence. And the electric fence the dogs will get close, and the closer they get is how much more pain they're going to take, right, to get closer and closer. He said he had one dog that had passed away just recently that the electric fence didn't work because it was okay with the pain to get to the rewards of the freedom of that big open field and go run like crazy. And he said, I want you to resonate. I want you to think about that for a minute. How much pain are you willing to take to make your breakthrough to get to that big open freedom? And he said he used to watch the dog consistently go close, back up, closer, back up, closer, back up. And then boom, he's seen it go through. And he said, after that, the dog got zapped every single time, but made it through. So are we as humans willing to go through some pain to get the results we desire? Or do we want to continue to make excuses? Do we want to continue to look for an easy button? Oh, that one didn't work, so I'm going to go do this one. That one didn't work, so I'm going to go do this one. I'm failing right now, so it's Curtis's fault because he didn't answer my call, or it's Debbie's fault, or it's Claire's fault. And then you go into this blame game. You go into the blame game. So are you making your calls? Are you dialing? Are you dialing your sphere of influence? Are you calling for sale by owners? Are you calling expireds? Are you willing to go through some of the pain to get the rewards? Oh, Robert Abrams, he got lucky getting that $6 million listing and then the buyer to buy it and do a $12 million transaction that's closing next Tuesday. He's just lucky. No, it was years of preparation. It was relationships. It was engagement. Okay. So don't go and judge, well, if I was Robert, I would be able to do this, this, or this. He put in the work and he stayed consistent with the relationship for the opportunity. There's no such thing as entitlement here. Just because you get your real estate license doesn't mean you're entitled to anything. So are you making your calls? Are you getting contacts? Are you making appointments? So yesterday I was successful at getting 3 appointments. I'll tell you, man, I was ready to just stop. I even called Curtis and I was like, "This, your people, you're blah, 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 blah." And I was like, and he started laughing. He started laughing. It was just encouragement for me. I had someone to call, let it release, and then boom, I jumped back on the phone, right? And I was consistent, but I didn't get an appointment until my last 3 phone calls.
Yeah, I was going to ask Tom, how well did that whining go for you? Calling me and whining.
So anyways, we're going to move on. And by the way, the people who hung up on me, guess what happened immediately? I called them right back.
Did we get disconnected?
Yeah, no, I called them right back. I said, how rude for you to hang up on me. And they go, click again. And then the one who said they hated me, I called back and I was blocked. So I couldn't get through. I was going to say, I hate you too. So, but I called them back. Did I catch them at a bad time? Did I catch them at an opportunity, a time where maybe they're struggling through a life situation? Did I catch them at a time where they just had a deal fall apart? Who knows, right? So I did. I changed things up. My very last 3 phone calls of contacts were appointments. The last 3 of over 100 phone. I got my sheet. I can pull it up and show you guys of how many dials I made. And I made 17 contacts, 10 hangups. I had 4 people tell me they pretty much didn't want nothing to do with me and they hated me and hung up after they got the right to tell me all that. And then the last 3 were great. There were appointments. And I'm not going back thinking Anya's a jerk for telling me she hates me. And Curtis is smiling because he says, oh, she's wonderful. She's a great person. Anyway, so did I catch them at a bad time? Did I catch them at a moment where it wasn't good? I didn't give up. but I did. I had to give credit to Curtis because I called him and I was like, this doesn't, the list isn't working, blah, blah, blah. But I had to get right back on track. So couple things. Who do you have to reach out to just say, hey, you know what, blah, 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 and maybe fix something, your script, but don't spend a lot of time on it. Make it quick and pivot fast. Consistency will create and demonstrates integrity, which will create the results you desire. And so often we just quit too early. Are you the dog going up to that electric fence and just backing off because it's too much pain? Or are you the one that's looking for that freedom on the other side to break through, deal with some pain? And by the way, this guy's name is Tim Stout. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. And any of you guys that like MMA and fighting and stuff, you would know who he is. He was a light middleweight champion in MMA. And so I got a chance to meet him and hear his story. By the way, he makes $2 to $3 million in real estate today. And so Tim was, he was a top fighter. He got paid extremely well, and he got married, and he had a title fight coming up, and he was favored to win. He was very highly favored to win, and he lost the fight. And he explains it this way. He goes, I lost because I wasn't going in to hurt someone. He goes, I got married, damn it, and then I had emotion and feelings, and that dragged into the ring, and I lost. He goes, but here's the good thing. I make more money in real estate, and I'm not even getting punched in the face and beat up anymore. He goes, go ahead and hang up on me and yell at me. That feels way better than getting your face punched in or kicked in. And I'm thinking, wow, pull him up, Tim Stout. You'll see, he speaks all the time. He runs a bunch of gyms. He's a great, great guy, but he tells a story that he is not physically getting hurt anymore from being hung up on. And he's very consistent. So consistency will demonstrate integrity. There's Steve at the bottom. He heard me on the phone yesterday. I heard him on the phone yesterday, and it was good. We fed off of each other. So who are you working with? Who can you work with? Who can you do it through Zoom with? But go ahead and do it. So I want to open this up to you guys, and then I have something that I want to play for you. But this is your call. This is your mastermind, and this is a group coaching. And I want you to be very vulnerable. What's working at a very high level for you? And what's your pain of getting a breakthrough? Curtis?
Tom, you're gonna have to bear with me because it's door knocking Friday, and it's been about 2 weeks since I've been out here. So I think that all too often, you know what I mean?
Steve, you're door knocking?
Of course.
So
Of course.
you did nearly 90 million last year, and why are you door knocking?
Because it's consistency breeds integrity, right? It's part of who I am.
And is your team working with you?
They are, yeah. We've got 2 team members for a big open house, Memorial Day open house that we're doing Saturday and Sunday. So I think it's too often we will maybe get into action and we expect the first 5 phone calls, everybody to buy a house, right? And then when that doesn't happen, I think we beat ourselves up or we get down on ourselves. It's just action is the cure-all. If you can stay in action, and when those calls don't go as planned, don't let that momentum wane, because if you quit, it's harder to get started again. You know, we talk about the same thing a lot on these calls, and that's all it is. It's just getting into action, and don't be somebody that jumps on these calls and is just, you know what I mean, doesn't get into the action, takes in all the information, but doesn't do anything about it, man. That's what's going to cripple you. It's great that you get on these calls, but when we get off these calls, we should have a plan to be in action. That's it, you know? So thank you for letting me share.
Steve, I also appreciate your input. By the way, I was standing beside Steve when he was making a call, And he got hung up. He's like, damn it, she hung up on me. And what did Steve do? Called right back.
Yeah, but even me though, it's tough, man. Those calls, they beat you down, but it's part of it. It's sorting. It's like a gumball machine. You got maybe 200 red ones, and there's 10 blue ones in there, and all you're doing is sorting. You're calling through until you find the blue ones. That's all you're doing. You can't take it personally, whether it's agent attraction, whether it's prospecting for buyers or sellers. It's all the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you got to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did I was reading an article someone had sent it about Zillow and Realtor.com up in the Maryland area. I did a breakdown with Steve probably about a year and a half ago. The average cost per closing for a Zillow or Realtor.com lead was around $2,800. So it was around $2,800 for every closed lead, right? Now, you might get 100 leads and pay an average of so much money per lead, but for a closed transaction, it averaged anywhere from $2,500 to $2,800 a lead. Okay, and if you close 10 of them a year, that's $28,000. What could you do with $28,000 versus buying leads from Zillow or Realtor.com? Here's the other thing. If you sign up for referral things, right? What if the referral fee of 35% that you're paying, imagine what you could do with that money that's going to the referral company that you could put into your business, coaching, conferences, meetings, trainings, all this stuff. All right, I'm going to be quiet. Who else? Curtis, did you give me empathy yesterday when I called you?
No, I have no empathy for whining.
I wasn't whining.
You weren't whining. All transparency, you weren't whining. But you did call and vent for a moment, and then you moved on. And that's about all you get is a 2-minute pity party, and then it's time to get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah. Is that Fred? I'm trying to see.
Yes. Sorry, I'm way
There
back
you
there.
are.
In the
Oh,
back.
there you are.
Yeah, where am I? I can't see myself here. But anyway, hey, Tom. One of the things, I don't know why that camera's so far away. Let me just see here something. Don't worry about it. That's me in the background. One of the things I have one of my clients now. We've just a great agent. Same thing, which we all go through. After almost 47 years, same thing you're talking about, right? And where does it come from? It comes from FOF, feelings of futility. Feelings of futility. What are feelings of futility based on? They're based on the F word. And that F word is fear, false evidence appearing real. And how the only way you overcome fear, false evidence appearing real. What's the other F word you need? What's the other F word you need?
Faith.
Thank you. Faith is the only thing that overcomes fear, right? And you got to have faith in an understanding. The person I'm working with now, she has 500 people in her database. We said, okay, we want to make 3 contacts a year. That's 1,500 contacts a year. We divided up to how many work weeks she wants to work. It got down to 7 calls a day. Those 7 calls a day, she should have 50 deals. And she's been doing this only 3.5 years, and we've really done a great job on branding, and things are really stepped up, blah, 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 blah. But when we looked at the 7 calls a day, okay, that is going to equal for her. She's in a market with lower price ranges. That is going to equal for her about 50 deals a year because she doesn't know how good she really is yet. She gotten a whole lot better in the last 3 months. But when we looked at 50 deals a year at about $5,000 a transaction, how much is that?
Yeah.
250
How much
grand.
How much?
250, isn't it?
Yeah,
No?
250,000. That's $250,000, okay, for 7 calls a day or 1,500 calls a year. So take 1,500 and you divide it by those deals, right? And I said, if you take 250,000 and you divide it by 1,500 calls you've got to make, you're making $166 a call. So you got to take a piece of paper right now, write $166 on it, place it wherever you want to make your calls, and plant that number in your head. And every call you're making, you can pay $166. See, that's faith. Because everybody like Tom Martin says it, everybody like Tom Ferry says it, everybody like Coach Debbie says it, Coach Kurt, everybody says it. And, Claire says, Liz, everyone says it. But even after all these years, I still have to fight the feelings of futility. It's amazing. And it's just a human blessing that's given to us to find the rewards and the joy and the peace that comes from overcoming fear, false evidence appearing real, with faith. And so have faith in the people, all in this industry, number one. Have faith in statistics. Have faith in the law of math, because just like the law of gravity. So how many of you, if I said to you today, I'm going to pay you $166, and some of you in areas a whole lot more than $5,000 a deal. If I said to you, I'm going to pay you $166 a call, how many calls would you make today?
Well, you make them.
I mean, you could squeeze about 20 calls in today, right? You make so, that's the thing, man. You gotta really, unlike Claire practices the F word a lot, you gotta practice the right F words. Is she on the call? Dwell on these F words, because, the feelings of futility. I learned that when I was a number one agent out of 300. My first year in the business, took more listings than anybody else, about one a week. And it was because a mentor told me that one simple thing. The only thing that ever holds anybody back is feelings of futility. Steve Brown, he used to dress in a red suit from Atlanta. Great guy. By the way, I had to dust this company of 300 people. I found these old VCR tapes in the corner. Steve Brown, How to Become a Master, whatever. Back then, you didn't have what you had today, internet and YouTube. And I went, what are they? Wow, I'm going to listen to this guy. I just digested those things, and it worked. There was no magic. I just practiced faith in what he was teaching and to overcome feelings of futility. So practice the F word today, make $166 a call, go out and make your calls, and I'll guarantee you it works. It works.
Yeah, absolutely. Professional athletes practice every single day to show up for game day. They're not practicing to not show up and not play, but they're doing more of the work than they're actually playing. Right? They're doing all their preparation, all their training, all their learning, all their conditioning, all of that. And we so often cry and complain that someone's rude to us on a telephone call, or we knock on a door and they're mean. I mean, there's got to be you got to have someone that you can turn to, make a quick phone call, and don't have a pity potty, but make sure you can, hey, just looking for a little bit of word of encouragement, get back on the phone if that's what you need, right? Because I will tell you, everything that we're hearing from some of the top coaches, from some of the top teams, they're going back to, they're doubling down on actually making phone calls, door knocking, bringing back the relationship in the business. The days of just sitting there paying for leads and growing a business is not going to be justifiable for you if you're not running a big team. You're going to be paying thousands and thousands of dollars to do the exact same things that you could do on your own without paying that money.
Tom, I'm guilty too, right? But everyone keeps saying back to the basics, but John Chaplack is right. Why did we ever leave them? Why did we ever leave the basics? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's the common law of numbers, right? The more contacts we make, the more conversations we have, the more appointments we get, the more contracts we write, the more contracts we write, the more closings we have. So why are we pulling away from that? Listen, it's painful, but pain will create the opportunity, make that breakthrough.
I just want to say real quick, what Fred said was awesome. Fred, that was good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Hey, guys, real quick.
One of the things, Steve, you've been very open and vulnerable about it on our calls and interviews, with when you're fighting, addiction, right? How do you overcome it, and how you've done so well in how many years sober?
7 years. I just
7
lost
years.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And would you have done it without accountability?
Heck no. I'd
Yeah,
still be in a hole somewhere.
Get yourself an accountability partner. Claire and I was talking the other day on the Wednesday calls. I'm going to start having a section, and for people who want to volunteer to be publicly held accountable. So tune in on Wednesday, because accountability, you've got to have accountability partner. You've got to have a minimum of 3 people in your life. Definitely your significant other. You want to go to them, and you want to turn your husband on, ladies. Let me tell you something. Or man, you want to turn your wife on, go to them and say, listen, honey, I got news for you. I've really been negligent in our relationship as reference to my business, right? I've really been negligent. And I'll tell you what, I've been on this call, and it's true, man. It's the greatest form of child abuse. When I heard that from when you guys were sharing the other day is not fulfilling your goals, that kind of stuff. I've really been negligent. I need you to hold me accountable. I'm giving you permission every day. Please, at dinner or before we go to bed, I want you to ask me, please show me the calls you made today. So find at least 3 people, minimum 3 people. And if you have children of 10, 12 years old and the teenagers, you say, look, if you want the allowance or you're going to have to be my partner in this deal, because I'll neglect you. I'm just telling you the feelings of futility, and teach them the same thing. The feelings of futility are real. You're going to have it in relationships. You're going to have it in school. You're going to have it when you go out to get your first job. Feelings of futility. Let's be a family of faith, right? And you help me with really making me faithful to you and practicing faith, and hold me accountable. If you don't have 3 people, accountability partners in your life, then you're really missing out. You're really missing out. So on Wednesdays, we're going to have a public accountability section there. Claire and I was talking the other day, and I thought about that. I said, I'm going to add that segment to it. And I have one of the people, and thank God she is on the call. I didn't see her early. But we were talking about that, and we all need that. There's no question about it. Oh,
Hey, Fred, thank
What are
you.
the details around that, Fred? What are you going to do?
On Wednesdays, what I want to do is, this past Wednesday, I talked about, these masterminds, we've definitely got to be more engaged, number 1. Number 2, people got to have their cameras on. Number 3, it's a mastermind. And a mastermind means I benefit from multiple minds, and that the master is not any of us. And thank God for this GPS group. All of us are giving and humble, and well, of course, we all have our egos, but, we really are trying hard and pouring out. And here you've got 50 some people on a call out of 950. Thank God for you all on the call. Pat yourself on the back. Reach over right now, pat yourself on the back, because that's, you're showing up. And so on Wednesdays, what I want is have a section, the accountability section, where publicly I'm going to have my assistant keep track of everybody that signs up for public accountability. And we're going to put your ass in the pillory. Do you know what the pillory is? A pillory is worse than a stockade. Look up copillory.org, a nonprofit site I did years ago, going up against big banks and big corporations. But a pillory is you put your hands and your feet in, and the neck. And a lot of times people would die at the pillory instead of just a stockade. We're not going to use a stockade. So if you sign up for accountability on Wednesday, the following Wednesday, we're going to say, okay, hey, Joe, speak up. Did you do it? Hey, Bill. Hey, Mary, did you do it? Because, we got to get serious. I mean, we're with the greatest organization for people who really want to grow. It's not for people who don't want to grow. Let's really, I'm so glad of this topic. I'm so glad I tuned in this morning, because this is, I said on Wednesday, I admitted how frustrated I am and how many people are still, our statistics are much better than the industries. Mine are way better than the industries, but I'm still freaking frustrated how many people are quitting on themselves and not what Tom was talking about, not going to the fence, and then putting their tail between their legs and going home. Or going to join 100% company, or going to start their own company because they can't handle the heat, So anyway, I just think that accountability partners are the key for sure.
Absolutely. I'm going to get to Keith. If Keith is still on, I know he was wanting to speak up, and then I'm gonna go to Claire, but I need at least 4 minutes coming up real soon. I gotta play this video because it's gonna really pull everything together for you, and it's only 4 minutes long. Keith, are you still there? Keith? Not sure. Okay, all right. If he pops back in, we'll pull him on. Claire.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you. And one of the things in speaking with you when I was at that defeated, throw my hands up, screw it, when I'm sharing with people the opportunity about EXP, I was asking you, what am I doing wrong? And you said you're not asking for business and you're not being accountable. And making that shift in realizing that I was being selfish and self-centered about my own itty bitty feelings, rather than understanding that it's an opportunity to change lives. And those that are on the other end, if they want to accept, great. If they don't, great. And placing it on my calendar and staying accountable to my boss, Tom Martin, and to my running buddy, Liz Quinones. I place it on my calendar. I send them a calendar invite of when I'm making my calls, what's going on, how many calls I made. And so in making calls yesterday, it was interesting. It's kind of funky out there. However, I realized that, you know what, I care about them more than I care about my itty bitty feeling. And that was my mindset, which Fred teaches about that. And just moving forward, it has to do with, you know what, we're going to have those situations that come about. However, I know that I've got my running buddies, I've got my accountability buddies, I've got my coach, I have all of the tools. I just have to be willing to pick up the phone. And what I realized is, you know what, we are the best ones to share this opportunity because of the successes and because of the feelings that we receive from the people around us. And I'm one selfish little shit if I am not reaching out to a large amount of agents who are struggling, the small brokerage firms that are struggling. I am actually stealing their blessing. And when that clicked in my head, I didn't care how many people hung up on me. You know, if you don't want to receive the blessing, God bless, you know, but that was a mind shift this past week. And Tom, I thank you for being my coach and my accountability partner. And Liz, thanks for being my running buddy. We're going to keep on going, you know, so it was a mind shift as of when you're getting those hangups and when you're getting the I hate yous, it was like, you know what? Okay. However, I cared about you enough to call you. And if you don't want to accept it, that's on you. God bless. Later.
Claire, I love that, because here's the thing, right? So are you, you know, I can show you guys yesterday's right from my dashboard, right? So do you have that accountability with someone where you can say, hey, look, I did my calls? Or are you sitting there whining and crying, complaining because you're afraid to make them? It stinks making calls sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. But you know what? When you get that one great listing or that one great buyer or that one great agent, it's like, holy cow, you forget all the crap behind it. DJ. And then after DJ, I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna dig into something for you guys. You like my shirt?
Okay, so I have a public service announcement. PSA, plan, schedule, accountability. You can't be accountable if you don't have a plan and it on your schedule, right? So just remember, public service announcement, plan, schedule, and be accountable.
All right, I'm gonna see you later now. I'm done.
DJ always comes in with those one-liners. Always.
DJ.
Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
DJ has been around for a while and she is extremely knowledgeable and things, those nuggets always come out.
Saying how long I've been around. Yesterday, George said she's been around for over a quarter of a century. That is like, thanks, George. A quarter of a century. So
good with words.
George has been around half a century. I wouldn't worry about it.
like I've been married forever. And I told my husband the other day, I am tired of people asking how long we've been married. I'm going to tell them we've been married 1 year and we're so excited to be married. So I've decided I've been only in real estate 1 year and I'm really excited to be in real estate. So. Oh, by the way, happy anniversary in June or whenever it is, Curtis.
I was just trying to get somebody to send me some lobster. It was the beginning of the call. It's a long story.
So I'm taking Kim out for lobster tonight because it is our anniversary weekend. And I've been, I can't count on my hands anymore how many years that is. So it's a few. 24 years, she said. She hasn't got rid of me yet. I think the more I'm out of the house, the easier it is for her. So all right. And a lot of anniversaries going on right now. Wow.
Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
my husband has an anniversary today.
Oh.
We are
20
finally the same age in sobriety until December. He picks up 26 years today.
Holy cow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
Listen, I want you to hear something. So 26 years. Ed Milet talked about his father, 35 years, and then found the sheet of all the people he helped. By the way, he's on stage. Is it worth 800 million? And the thing he said is, I'm here to make a difference in people, right? I heard that from him. Other speakers, I'm here to make a difference in people. I'm here to make a difference in you, right? So when Claire and everybody else says, hey, I want to make a difference in people. Yes, we're in it to make a difference for people and we're in it to earn an income. But if you're in it just to earn an income only without making an impact in others, you're going to struggle. And that's probably the issue that you're struggling with right now. And it's probably why you're not reaping the rewards financially, because you got you in the way. We're going to move you out of the way. All right, I'm going to play this real quick. This is a pretty awesome video. And to what Fred mentioned yesterday, earlier about the number of people show up, I know that everybody gets busy in life, right? And I know we have just under 1,000 people with the GPS. You know how many times I said I'm not doing these calls anymore? You know how many times I said, you know what? I got better things to do with my time on Friday mornings at 8:30. I don't need to show up for 50 or 60 people anymore. But then I said to myself, the 50 or 60 people that show up, how am I letting them down? Right? So then it became
Ditto. I feel you, Tom. I really do. And that's why I said, pat yourself on the back if you're here,
Yeah.
because that's what I started focusing on. I said, wait a minute, what's the investment? I'm glad you brought that up. So, because I really want everybody on this call to pat yourself on the back and keep doing what you did this morning. Show up. I've been showing up for 50 plus years and it's paid off tremendously. So I'm glad you brought that up, Tom.
I listen, I got family, I got business, and I show up every call with Curtis, Debbie, Claire, and all of you guys. I'm here every Friday. I barely ever miss a Friday since I joined the EXP, right? So if I can make a commitment with consistency to be here with you, congratulations to you for even being here. So, all right, I'm going to play this now. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to play this. Now I got to make sure I share sound. I got it. All right, share screen. I'm going to enlarge it.
The Commodores will take the lead to the locker room at halftime, but nobody on that field wearing white and gold today can be very pleased with this first 30 minutes of football.
We have opportunity. Something right through our fingers. We give me the best offense in the country. We ain't doing a thing about it. We ain't doing a damn thing about it. Let's go. It's no different than it was 3 years ago. It's no different than it was 2 years ago. We'll be as good as you guys decide to be. Go out and make plays, fly around and have fun. We're not doing that right now. That's the reality of it. And we can make all the excuses we want. The rest of your life, nobody's going to care about the problems. You either get it done or you don't. Change it. Change your circumstances. That's it. That's it. Time to start taking control of your own circumstances.
First down. Toss to Tate. It's a throwback to Curtis Samuels.
We lost sound.
No, keep going. Just listen. Just go ahead. I'm sorry. Just, it's the video.
Rush is coming unblocked. Ball gets away, caught by Matthews. Going left to right. Matthews cuts upfield to the 10, to the 5, leaps to the end zone. Oh, are you kidding me? On the sideline, a spectacular catch. Touchdown, Commodores.
Take that road win. Take that road win, baby. I'm probably going to say something what you guys aren't expecting me to say, but that's the prettiest win I ever saw in my life. We're going to get back to having fun. We're going to get back to enjoying the wins. That's the prettiest win I've ever seen because it's the only win that matters. Today's. You understand? And we're going to watch the tape and we're going to learn from it, but we're going to learn with a win.
All right. So what resonated me real quick was take control of your circumstances, what you can control. You can't control the interest rates. You can't control the other person yelling at you on the other line. You can't control that. It's how we react and what we do, right? So it's open to you guys. What did you think? What did you feel? By the way, taking control of your circumstances. If you don't have accountability, how do you plan on getting through? I had someone I called yesterday, and I'm grateful Curtis was there for the call. I have other people I can call. I have a coach. So here's the thing, guys. Who do you have holding you accountable? And are you engaging in something that's going to hold you accountable, right? So your sponsor or your mentor isn't going to be the best accountability partner. Are you in something that's going to hold you to the highest level? Here's what I know. When we make an investment in ourselves, we're accountable. When Steve gets on a phone call with his coach and he doesn't do the things he's supposed to do, it sucks paying $1,000 for the work that you didn't do from the advice you're getting from a coach for 20 minutes or whatever it may be. All right. So I just want you guys to understand, we have so many different things to get you into another level. You either choose to or not. It's up to you. We have Rise with Claire for $99 a month. It's got reporting, tracking programs. We got Grit getting ready to come up. And I'll let Curtis talk about that. But here's the thing, guys. You've seen in that video, those players had a coach. Those players, if they didn't have that coach to give them the momentum they needed that second half, they would have failed. So we're going into the second half, guys. You want the same results you've gotten so far this year? Or do you want to improve and catch up and accomplish your goal? Well, some of you are thriving because you have things in place. Others, 80% of the people on this call are not thriving. And I don't have to name names. I'm just saying that's the law of the numbers. 80% are not achieving what they want to achieve because they don't want to do the work to create. They're too afraid of the pain. They don't want to make a breakthrough. They're scared. They're pain. They don't have someone walking through that line with them. All right, Curtis, anybody? Tell me what are your takeaways? Takeaways.
Well, not yours. I wanted to hear what's everybody else's takeaways from the video.
That's what I'm saying. Tell me, takeaways.
My
Get back
takeaway
to
is
doing
the
what
fact.
you're doing.
Say that.
Sorry, Clay.
Go ahead.
Get back to doing what you've been doing all along. It's successful.
Focus on the wins today, today. Be present today.
I think that the need to focus on changing your circumstances. I think that's one of the lines I heard the coach say, so that's a good one for me.
Claire, did you want to say something?
I'm a little bit biased because I thoroughly enjoy the SEC. And as being a member of part of the Gator Bowl committee, I actually know the AD and head coach of Vanderbilt. And that particular AD that was in that film has now stepped down. However, he was the dean of the business college. The high respect and love that they had for each of those players and the passion of that one player and what he said stands out more because it's the resonance of the leadership that was around them. It wasn't about what they did wrong. It was about sticking to the plan and doing what's right and doing it until you don't get it wrong. I've stood in those rooms with those guys. So I feel privileged to watch that video. Just saying, I love college football and I love the passion.
Ariel wrote, discipline will get you a lot closer to success than you think. Making the players better humans is the ultimate goal. Relationship, right? We tend to get caught up in the past and future and forget to be present in the now. Anyone else? Curtis, want to close us up?
Well, I was just gonna say, listen, I took notes. You know, I'm the one that I found that video and sent it because I love football. And you know, he says a couple of things, right? He says, listen, it's the same as it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and today. And quite honestly, it is. We're all in real estate, right? He says, go out, make plays, fly around, and have fun. Because it is fun. Of course, change your circumstances. And then it's the prettiest win in probably what was the ugliest football game, right? And then I love, and then I don't know, I think it's Lizette. It says today's win, right? Focus on today's win. So I took a lot from that. I love it. Awesome. Who did somebody put in the chat? Let's see. Yeah, do you set goals or make commitments? Thank you, DJ. We are in charge of our own destiny. Yeah, so I'm glad. I trust you guys all enjoyed that. Anyway, yeah, so Tom, you did bring it up. Great shirt. Thanks for wearing it. Listen, we did decide that we were going to do, you guys don't all know this because we certainly didn't put it out there. Some of you guys do, some of you don't. We've been asked to bring back grit, and I think the timing is or couldn't be any more perfect for many different reasons. And I'll let that just lay as Tom, spoke earlier. We were going to do it live, just real quick. We were going to do it live. That's a big, huge, tremendous undertaking. And that unfortunately couldn't come together at the time that we wanted it to. So anyway, we decided to press on and we're going to do it through Zoom. Now, this is not your mama's grit. This is not the grit from 2022. This is an all new grit that we've decided to do. And for those of you who don't know what grit is, grit's a program that we had written. It's 30 days to a 6-figure pipeline. That promise is still the same. We've in fact made things a lot different. We've got, for those of you who attended Grit in the past, we've made some changes. Actually, we've made quite a few changes. We're going with new scripts in the market of today, right? 2023. We've got new scripts for dealing and talking with your sphere of influence. We're going to give you different patterns and things. So that link's not really working right now. Thanks for putting it up there, Claire. But it will be by the end of the day. We've got spelled out for you video and social media marketing ideas, because video going forward in marketing is going to be key to following up to the phone calls and the contacts that you're actually making, right? So it's prospecting based, marketing enhanced. There's a whole new level of accountability that we've added to this. So again, this is not your mama's grit. This is not the grit of the past. And then, of course, we're going to go deep into the listing presentation, a listing presentation for you, as well as a buyer presentation for you. I don't know how many of you guys are struggling with that. I think it's something that we've gotten away from over the past couple of years. And certainly that's evolved in time. The script, the listing presentation we used 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago is not the same as what we might use today. A lot of noise out there with technologies, big competitors, things of that nature. So we've made quite a few changes, and those are just a few bullet points. Now, for those of you who are curious, what's that look like? Listen, it's still on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's from 9:30 to 11:30. The date that we're going to propose as far as starting, and we've pretty much got that narrowed down, is June 22nd. That's a Thursday. That'd be day one. And I know we're getting into July 4th, and some of you guys are going, well, I'm going on vacation and all those fun things. We're skipping that week of July 4th, but it'll be every Tuesday and Thursday and finishing out July. It is 9 sessions total, 2 hours each time. Yes, it's on Zoom. There'll be multiple presenters, myself, Debbie, Claire, and maybe others. And it'll be incredible. The price is at $299. That's an early bird price as of right now. Our Stripe link, the payment link, is down right this very second, because I just checked it. I'm not sure why, but we'll get it fixed. But that'll be up. I just wanted to give you guys an idea. Of course, answer any questions if you got them. But this is, it's going to be huge, and it's going to be incredible. So I'm pretty excited about that. Oh, by the way, new t-shirts, just saying. So there's a new t-shirt covered in that price. So Tom, while that t-shirt looks incredible, the front stays the same. The back might be a little bit different. So anyway, yeah, that's a good one. But we might tweak it up a little bit. Actually, I think we are. So anyway, if anybody's got any questions, but I did just want to throw that out there because we're pretty excited about it. We've had so many people reach out to us. When are you doing this? When are you doing this? Well, guess what? We're doing it. It's on the calendar.
That's fantastic. And the thing is, it's being by Zoom gives everyone the opportunity that is flying from other areas to save on that big expense of hotel and airfare and all that other stuff. Is everybody paying attention to NAR lawsuit? And I want to bring this up because this is going to help. This is going to be direct correlation with what we're talking about in GRIP for the buyer presentation. The NAR is failing to fight for us at a higher level with the lawsuit against commissions. Now, with that being said, who here is doing a buyer presentation with a written buyer's agreement? If you are not right now, and you're like, well, I don't want to ask them to sign it because it might offend, and then no, if you get a listing, they got to sign, period. If you do not master a buyer presentation with a buyer's agreement, you're not going to be earning commissions because you know what? Those buyers are going to come to you to represent them and you get paid $0. So you may start seeing co-brokes with $0. Okay? So when you see a co-broke at 1%, stop complaining because you're not doing your job. You're not bettering yourself to do a buyer presentation with a buyer's representation. I'm just, it might sound harsh, but you know what? You stop complaining. You have no control over another co-broke compensation. You do have control over the buyers that you work with and choose to work with a buyer's agreement and be compensated in the buyer's agreement from the seller in a very strategic way. So I think that's going to be highly important, Curtis, because I know some states are already implementing it.
Yeah, in fact, there was an article. Go ahead.
I'll start June 1st with the NAR thing.
See, that's fantastic, Natasha, and perfect timing. I mean, I know it's a struggle and I know it's a change, but the buyer presentation is so critical, important, and because it creates more loyalty for the buyer to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
June 1st. Wow, I did not know that.
There was an article, by the way, this morning in Inman about that NAR commission.
Yep. Yeah, I read it this morning, and yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it's serious, guys. So be prepared for it. We're putting you in front of the issue that you may face. So most brokerages right now are like, it won't work. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And then boom, it happens and the agents aren't prepared for it and they come and run into the broker and the broker's like, blah, blah, blah. We're preparing you.
The Ohio EXP brokers have a ready-made buyer agreement that is on all buyer loops when you set them up, which is good.
That's great. Yeah, might be something you might want to put into maybe, a link into your website as well. Who knows?
Who just spoke? Alice, I think your name was?
Yeah.
Alice, what part of Ohio are you in?
I'm in sunny Dayton, Ohio.
Oh,
sun
Houday
seldom
fan
shines,
though.
but
Close
today it
enough.
is.
You're close enough to Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
Houday.
Yeah. Oh, now see, that's tough because we have the Browns and the Bengals, and even in Dayton, Ohio, it could go either way.
Yeah,
Not to
there's
mention
no
the
other
Browns.
team in Ohio but Cincinnati. That's the only team that exists.
That's true. In Dayton, you should be rooting for the Bengals for sure.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I just want to take the moment and tell you thank you so much for bringing that up. I just actually launched my first brokers buyer agreement. I'm second year now, and so it was like a mental thing that took coaching and you guys on the call to let me know that that's just part of doing business. I just want to throw that out there because for one, I've just been paying attention to what you guys are saying and the news. I didn't know it was rolling out like that, but the last 3 buyers that I have them under a buyer's agreement, and it's felt very, very well. It feels really, really good. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks guys so much for all of your input. It's always gold.
And Alethea, thank you for mentioning that, but it protects you more too, right? It sets the expectation in the transaction so the buyer can't say, well, you said this, and this, and it's all in your buyer's agreement, right? So many agents will make all these promises to the buyer and go, I don't remember saying that, because they're just wanting the commission. The driving factor is let me get the commission and get this done.
I have a sad and true story on this. I had a friend of mine come out of the blue to purchase a $1.2 million property, and it required a lot of showings and stuff like that. And as I was sitting down to write the contract, as I'm writing the contract, he tells me, you are going to give me a referral, right, on this? And I was like, what are we talking about? And he's like, well, you're not going to make, you're going to give me 1/3 of the commission, right? And I was like, what are we talking about? And I'm like, so I was in the midst of writing the contract, and we were up against another buyer, and I wasn't able to think things through carefully enough. But basically I ended up having an exchange with him where he literally said, I don't think you're worth $33,000. That's a new car. You're not worth that. I could have gone to any agent. I could go to any agent even now. And it's just like, well, but so in the midst of that situation, if I had had that buyer's agreement in place beforehand, it would have spared all of that, and I wasn't expecting this from the person because I knew him fairly well. And it did cost me. I wasn't prepared, and I found myself going, okay, well, let's see, 20 is better than none. So, okay, and if it had been in place first, that would have been much better. But that was a sad, hard lesson to learn. So
Alice, thank you for being vulnerable to say that. And
I'm sorry to say it out loud.
no,
but it's true.
that's growth right there. That is growth. It helps others.
The agreement in place just gives a lot of peace of mind. And I had another sale here just lately where some little condo is listed at 2% co-broke. And I'm like, now we did sign that agreement. So, and this is a different situation. I feel bad asking this lady to pony up the 1/3 that's missing. But at least it's in place so that I could do that if I wanted to, I guess. But
Well, you can also ask the seller to pay 1% towards the buyer's closing cost, and it becomes a closing cost fee, and the seller has no awareness of what that closing cost fee is, and it becomes a commission. And we'll
you can do that, closing cost fee?
Yeah, you can do a 1%. You can say, hey, Mr. Seller, the buyer is requesting 1% towards buyer's closing cost, and that'll cover your extra 1%. Since they're paying 2% on the co-broke, you can get the other 1% from the buyer, because now the concession is from the seller to the buyer for the buyer to pay you. Okay. and it's perfectly legal. You can, if you look at your buyer's agreement, it's written in there, you can see, right? So you give that to the title company or the attorney, and they will actually go, that 1% of concession is a money to the buyer to pay a closing cost, which your commission additional, the difference between the commission is a closing cost.
Okay, I hadn't heard that before. I'd have to think that through a minute. Sorry, I'm just.
All
Okay,
right, we're gonna do some more digging into that, and I'm sure it'll be done through the grid, so.
okay. All right, thank you.
All right.
Please and thank you, Tom.
I guess that was Tom saying he had to go. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the live there and stop the recording.